Hello everybody and welcome to Europa Universalis 5. So that's exciting, right? I mean, yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 13 years since Europa 4 came out? I think something like that. It's definitely been a long time. But here we are, and this music swells a lot. So there's that. As you can see, we are apparently loading game resources. I tried to get these settings to where they should be. I feel like this music is louder than the in-game music will be. We'll see if that's the case, but for now, it's a little bit, I have it turned down a lot, and it's a very large dynamic range between the quieter portions of this track and the louder portions of this track, so it's a bit of a struggle. We'll see how it is in-game. I have not started any game yet. I know nothing about EU5. I have specifically avoided anything about it. I know literally nothing. So we're going to be diving right on in. Apparently it's already loaded the game resources, so theoretically we should have a nice fast load, I think. Of course, why would I click on load game? There's nothing there. New game. Okay. So, yeah, it's a deep historical grand strategy game about the fate of nations during the late medieval ages and early modern period as they vie for global power through war, diplomacy, colonization, and social and economic change. Yeah, we're not new to Europa. So we can select any country. Do not show the welcome window again and open world map instead is probably what we want. So let's go ahead and select any country. These here, these loading screens, feel very CK3 and Vic3. Very, very much so. It's very like a unified art style, and that's cool. I like that. So we're going to hop in here. This is version 1.0.0 with no mods, E7, E4. I have no idea what to expect from this. So let's see what this looks like. We're loading a save game, apparently, which is interesting. I don't think that's actually true. And it may take a little bit on this initial load. We'll see. This is the first time I've ever run this, and could be exciting. Also could be buggy. We'll never know until we try. Currently it's just frozen, so that's exciting. Okay, here we go. So 8 o'clock on 1 April 1337. That's an earlier start date. Okay. So that's interesting. I see that Iron Man is disabled and achievements are not available as of right now. So that's exciting as well. And then what's all this down here? Terrain. Oh, these are the map modes. Okay, so this is political map mode, tax base, raw materials. Okay, yep, that looks like raw materials. Control. So that's coming in from CK3. Proximity to capital, yeah. Markets. That's kind of coming in from Victoria then. Population. Oh my. Oh my indeed. Cultures. Sure. And we've got religions. Yeah, that makes sense. We've got diplomacy, which we're not anything. So this makes... Also, holy HRE, Batman. I just noticed that. Okay, so that's exciting. And then we've got tactical. That is a lot of counties in the HRE. I guess in Europa, they're provinces. Okay, that's a little laggy to zoom. I'm assuming it's compiling shaders. It didn't do a shader compilation when we first started up the game. So I'm assuming that's shader compilation, and it'll be a lot smoother at this point. Yeah, that's the case. So, who do we want to select? Well, there's this legend key here. That's exciting. And I kind of... Okay, interesting. There's a lot of gaps on this map as of right now, and that makes sense given that it's apparently 1337. Are there other start dates? These are the game rules here. That's the country selection. It wants us to select England. We're probably not gonna play in Europe. My tradition generally is that I don't play in Europe to start. I don't like playing in Europe that much. Generally speaking, it's very restrictive on what you can do in Europe. I tend to prefer to play closer to the edges of the map. So that's all absolutely fine. Also, the Ottomans are way different. That's for sure. That's probably a more interesting Ottoman start now. So that's fascinating. One thing I'm not seeing here, as of right now anyway, is different start dates. So there's only the one start date as of right now. Presumably they'll add more as they make DLCs. That's very normal. Also, this music is very quiet now. Can we go into options? Not here. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to pick a random country. What do we get? Oh, okay. I don't want to play that. What else do we get? Okay, there's so many counties over here in HRE, Germany, France, that's probably going to be very highly, what's the term I'm looking for? Biased towards picking these, because it can choose any county at random, right? Although I'm noticing that's a lot. That's a lot of little guys over here. Okay, that's very interesting. We'll have to take a look at the county density, but it seems to be quite a lot higher than Europa 4, which is cool. I do like that. But I kind of want to do like the traditional Ethiopian start. We gotta play Ethiopia, right? We always play Ethiopia to start with. I kind of feel like we need to. Ethiopia is a great way to get the feel of the game. It's powerful within its region, but it's not powerful within the grand scheme of the world. And yeah, I just want to do this. Let's start as Ethiopia, as usual. Ethiopian Empire. That feels very, like, Civ-like. I don't know about that. The Ethiopian Empire is an ancient realm, rich with history and traditions. Nestled in the Horn of Africa, it boasts high, lush high plains. Not high, lush plains. Plateaus and the Great Rift Valley. Its beauty is captivated by golden sunsets on the Simeon Mountains. Ethiopia's enchanting tapestry weaves diverse ethnic groups like the Amhara, Afar, and Tigray. United in trials, it remains resilient like the ancient baobab tree, enduring through time. Inspired by ancient origins, Ethiopia cherishes legendary unions like the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon. The legacy of their son, Menelik, the first member of the Solomon dynasty, echoes through time, connecting this land to ancient Israelites. Throughout the years, Ethiopia's epic tale unfolds, shaped by destiny and the unwavering spirit of its people. Triumphs and tribulations weave a rich tapestry of life's ebb and flow. However, this nation stands as a realm encircled by adversaries, eagerly waiting to seize any opportunity to strike. Managing not only to survive, but thrive will be a challenge. Indeed. So we've got non-integrated provinces here, apparently. So this is going to be coring, right? Presumably. Rebel movements here. Okay, our pops will join rebel movement. So the pop system is going to be very Victoria feeling, I think. We'll join rebel movements if their pop satisfaction falls below their pop join rebels threshold. Okay, I feel like they maybe need to proofread that hint a little bit, but sure. Rebel movements will gain progress towards open revolt every month, depending on their support. When reaching 100% support, they'll start a revolt or a civil war. So this is very similar to how it works in Victoria 3. Okay. Low stability, discriminated cultures, religions, angry estates. Okay, sounds good. So the estate system is in at this point. Sounds fine. Keep your stability up, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So pops are going to demand certain goods. That's a very Victoria feeling as well. We have a lack of commander for our units. Okay, sure. Possible reforms for government reforms. We'll take a look at those later. Cabinet actions. Okay. Laws not codified, research, possible rivals, no allies, and negative balance. We're not going to start the learning walkthrough. We'll figure it out. Okay, so first things first, we need to go into the settings here because as I expected, audio's a little on the low side. Even that's maybe a little low. So that initial audio on the main menu is really loud. This is better. So we'll just have this is supposed to be at 20%. We'll just have it be there for now. We'll see how that feels. Okay, so we've got 400 of something here. Is this 400 troops? Is that the raw number of troops there? Yeah, because these are our regiments here. Okay. Noted. So we've got 4 regiments of footmen here. That's absolutely fine. We have no leader here, and what are these stats? So these are his... diplomatic, this will be diplomatic. This will be administrative, presumably, and this will be military. Yes, administrative, diplomatic, military. So we probably want to put high military leaders into this. We could put the Nagusa Nagas directly in here. That's our emperor. We probably don't want to risk him. For the moment, I'm going to put Kyrillos in here. So he's our new general. My question is, Does he have a loyalty system? It doesn't appear to be that case right now. Okay, so this is going to be our various things here. So this is our government. This is fine. We could form a new country, but we probably don't want to do that. Select country upgrade. Oh, so okay, we can reform into a republic, reform into a theocracy, and this would probably allow us to upgrade our nation rank. That's fine. So these are our estates here. We've got the crown. We've got essentially the nobility, I think. Presumably this is the nobility. This would be the clergy. This would be the... I'm not actually sure who this is. Aiming to build an artisan guild. So this would be the merchants, perhaps. This here, the Gabar. This is going to be... Okay, this is a state which represents the population who usually lack prestige and power. So this is going to be the peasant estate, quote unquote. And then we've got tribes down over here. And yeah, this is the merchants, artisans, things like that. Cool. That's absolutely fine. So then we've got our parliament here. We last called our parliament 2 years ago, and we've got 11.14% base support. Okay, I'm not sure entirely what that's going to mean going forward. So that's fine for now. I want to check through some of these other tabs here. This is our cabinet. This is probably our advisors. Yeah, this is our advisors. Although I'm noticing that they don't have an actual ability that they give us. They would just increase our stats. And these stat numbers are pretty high. So that's interesting for sure. So this will be our advisors here. For the moment, we've got a net negative balance. We probably don't want to get any advisors right now. We've got our laws here. Okay, so that's all fine. If we wanted to pass these, hypothetically. Okay. That'll cost us stability, looks like, and it'll take 730 days to fully implement. Okay. I kind of wish it said that on this clock instead of having to mouse over the clock, but sure. That's probably something that will get changed later on. Okay, so in our economy here, we can see this is our current economic setup here. We were previously at minus 7.02. Now we're at 6.23. So we could crank up our minting. We can actually control our minting. Presumably that's going to hurt our inflation. So we maybe don't want to do that. That pops this open. Inefficient minting due to lack of access to needed goods and is decreasing the amount of money we get from minting. Okay, so minting is... I saw when I really cranked this up, it popped this up, which I'm assuming is inflation. Yeah, so that's 0.19% per month. So we want to probably balance this at the point where we're not actually getting inflation, but we are, this is actually very slightly reducing our inflation here. So this is probably about the point we'd want to be for our minting. That puts us at minus 5.98 ducats per month. Okay. So this is the cost of the court, army maintenance. This is the tax on our various estates. And that is noted. Out of curiosity. Interesting. I'm noticing that as we change this, our income is changing. But our overall balance... Okay, it is changing. It wasn't changing for a moment there, but now it is. Okay, so this is going to heavily affect their satisfaction equilibrium. So I want their satisfaction equilibrium to be just over 50% for all of these. So what that means is that we should have these be like this. So the cost of the court, this gives us legitimacy, and we probably don't need a lot of legitimacy coming in. A little bit of legitimacy coming in is probably good. We can sit about here. Army maintenance. Do we want to cut our army maintenance for right now? Well, I have no idea how the war system in this game works. That'll be interesting to find out. For the moment, cutting our army maintenance is maybe not a bad idea because we are in debt at this moment. Fort maintenance. Also probably a good idea to cut right now. We don't have a navy, so there's no navy maintenance to cut right now. So we do have this diplomatic spending here, and if we bring this down to here, we see that this pops in as a notification. Okay, so if we're not spending enough on our diplomacy, we have subjects who will become disloyal. So the minimum amount that we can spend on that is apparently that, 0.5. Okay, sure. So that's absolutely fine. We're close to being target of international organization. We can be targeted in a jihad. Okay, because we have a significantly high Islamic population. Intriguing. So that's definitely very, very interesting. And we can also boost our spending on our stability, which is interesting as well. So we can bring our stability to positive by doing that. Now, we are buying food at this moment, and we also have these buildings that are costing us upkeep. Okay, so that's good to know. We can go into the market here, and that's all well and good. We're in the Axum market right now, which I believe we control. So that seems absolutely fine for the moment. And trading, we're going to get into that later, most likely. So this is our production right now, and I mean, that's pretty interesting for sure. I'm going to look more closely at this later. So then this is our society. This is mostly, yeah, this is our cultures here, and then we've got our religions. We have a 50% conversion rate, so that's interesting. We definitely want to be working on getting those Muslims converted over to our current religion, which is Miaphysitism, and that's absolutely fine. And then this is our people here. So we've got like our strata here, right? So we can see we've got some pops promoting and demoting. So that definitely feels a lot like either Imperator or Stellaris or even Victoria to a certain degree, but that's more of a like Imperator or Stellaris influence there, I think. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. Looks good. This is our diplomacy here. We have no rivals. I'm not too concerned about that right now. This is our military. We can see our army morale is 1.76. That is probably going to be a very important number indeed. Same with this discipline and military tactics. All of these numbers are likely very good. But we've also got infantry power, cavalry power, artillery power, and auxiliary power. Interesting. And we've got this singular army right now. We'll look more into that later on. I'm just wondering where we see our force limit. Is that this? We're expected to have an army of 358 regulars. This is our levies here. So that's going to be very CK2 style. That's interesting. They're going to gather in area capitals with the bulk in Ankober for a total combat power of 2.33. So raising levies, this is very, very similar to how this works in both Imperator and Crusader Kings 2. I didn't expect that to come back. Okay, that's very interesting. We've also got access to mercenaries. That's fine. I'm not too concerned about that right now. What I'm really interested in is there a concept of a force limit? Or is it just going to be based on what you can afford to have? Because that's going to be spicy if it's just what you can afford to have. Okay, and this is army automation. Sure, whatever. So we can have 11 forts, but I'm not seeing a force limit here. So that's fascinating. So this is the geopolitics tab here. And this is like exploration and colonization. Maritime we don't have access to, and then diseases. So there are diseases in the game from the get-go. Sounds good. We're not too concerned about that right now. This is our advances, so this will be our technology. Okay, so this is much more like tech tree style than in the previous iteration. Interesting. So we can go for either nomadic tendencies, or we can go for organized religion. Possible clerics in towns and cities plus 50, max literacy for clergy plus 5%. Okay, so literacy is a thing. Good to know. And clerics in towns and cities will probably help us convert that troublesome Muslim population that is already causing us potentially some issues here. So we might want to go for organized religion, and we'll add that to our research queue. And that opened up a lot of these. So our research queue is, okay, this is the advances tree. This is very Victoria feeling. Okay, cool. Although there are all of these ages. So that's interesting. So that is very, very Victoria feeling. No doubt about that. We have some non-integrated provinces, and that opens up our government tab when we click on that. Okay. So if we check down over here, where do we see in this tab that it is non-integrated? Those are the diseases right there. That's the effective control. So we see that the control level of this is going up by 0.5% per month. And this is going to work, I think, very, very similarly, if I'm looking at this correctly, to how control works in CK3. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we want to core this, right? If we have the ability to do so. Integrate is the term. This is a rural settlement right now, evidently, and that's all well and good, but we have a number of these. So we can see that these provinces are not being integrated right now. So Hadia is a vassal, and I would not expect to be integrating those provinces right now. But there is, like, this province right down here, right? So there's this location here, which is presumably, this is a province. As is this. Ah, conquered rural settlement. Here's the integration status. So if we click on that, that opens the government tab as well. Okay. So those are our ruler traits. That works the same as in Europa 4. That's all well and good. Why is this opening our government tab without actually doing anything? So if we open with hint, what is this telling us to do? Conquered locations need to be integrated. Yeah. Recommended actions, instruct the cabinet to integrate province from the government panel. Okay, so that's why it's doing this. That's hire courtier here. No, I don't want to do that right now. So we can appoint a cabinet member. I'm going to sort by administrative here. I want this guy to be on the council. So this is just the highest administrative that we have right now. Okay, so now that he's in there, we can promote him to the head of the cabinet. But how do we alter the cabinet here? Or rather, instruct the cabinet? Well, we could reopen this tip and actually read that. If your cabinet cannot keep up with your conquest, consider creating a subject to rule the land in your stead. Okay, but we need to just assign the cabinet to a particular task, and that would be this. Okay, so change societal values, develop province, diplomatic endeavors, encourage migration, expel people, increase province control, integrate province. This is a military action. Interesting. So we would need to appoint, ideally, somebody with high military then. Like this guy. Okay. Let me just hop into the main menu here and bump down the audio just a smidge. Even that didn't feel like that did much. Okay. That was exciting. There we go. Okay, that'll be fine. So now that we're working on integration here, we need to go into our cabinet again, which would be in here. So each of these can have their own cabinet action. Okay. So that's understood. We want to do probably maximum assimilation right now. Okay. So how long will it take to get all of that done? With a total... Okay, so that's giving us 1.87 speed of integration. If we look at this... Okay, so these are going to be done in 1341, 1341, and 1341. So it's going to take about 4.5 years, somewhere around there. Okay. So that's all well and good. We've got pops with needs, and we're going to need to do something about that. We've got more provinces not being integrated right now. We'll get to those. And we've got an unmarried adult heir. We'll need to do something about that. We've got some unprofitable buildings. So over here, why is this unprofitable? That might be because we don't have enough goods coming in. Potentially. So we'll work on those for sure. We've got some inefficient minting due to lack of needed goods. That's understood. We've got some possible diplomatic actions, laws not being codified, and we should probably work on that. So what is this law not being codified? The following laws have not been written. Precious metal distribution. So we don't have a policy right now, and we need to select what we want. We could do ban of export, income from minting plus 33%. That seems pretty decent. Let's actually do that. Okay, so we've codified the precious metal distribution. That seems good. We'll see if it's actually good. I don't know anything about this game, remember. I'm just kind of making things up as I go right now. So we can do more reforms, and we can do more rivals. We have unmarried children, and we're being welcomed to Europa. Don't show the agenda at the start of the game. Cool. I'm gonna get rid of that. We'll figure it out. So for right now, it is time to put a cut in here, and next episode, we're gonna continue going through this stuff. That should be very, very interesting. And I'll probably keep tweaking the audio levels too. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and we might even unpause next episode. We'll see. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.